Paul Benowitz died in Albuquerque on June 23, 2003, as I was writing this book. He was 75. The Benowitz family pointedly refused to talk to me. They have consistently declined any comment on the affair for over 20 years, and they aren't about to change their minds. Please do not contact or pester them. It is not a time that they want to revisit. That's from the epilogue, Where Are They Now? In Project Beta, the story of Paul Benowitz, National Security and the Creation of a Modern UFO Myth by Greg Bishop, who will be my guest on Blog Talk Radio this Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I have a show every Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on blogtalkradio.com/the Stench of Truth, all one word. The link will be in the description box. You might want to also check out my blog. The link is in the description box. I should have a new posting up there within the next day or so. Anyway, this Friday, Greg Bishop on my Blog Talk Radio show. And now, on with the show. Welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I actually have two good things to talk about today. And that is that the Supreme Court ruled against AT&T in a case where AT&T alleged that public records, corporate records, were entitled to the same rights of privacy as individuals, basically. That they were exempt from disclosure for privacy, for the right of privacy. And in a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court ruled against AT&T, in effect denying corporations the same right to privacy that individual human beings, flesh and blood creatures do, as defined in the Constitution. So this is a great victory against corporations. And considering the fact that we live in a fascist fucking country where the corporations are running the government, this should be a wedge, a chink in that fucking armor that they have around them, and allow for disclosure and digging into what exactly these corporations are doing and how they are defrauding the people of this country and the banks. So this is a great victory. The other thing the Supreme Court made a ruling on, which is also a great victory for individual freedoms, was to support Westboro Baptist Church. And I know a lot of people out there do not like what they do, but the fact remains that freedom of speech, as it is given, as it is not given, but as it is defined within the Constitution, is designed specifically to protect the kind of speech that Westboro Baptist Church is engaged in. The hard and difficult fucking speech. The type of speech that people do not want to fucking hear. That is what needs to be protected. Not the mamby-pamby shit that you hear every day. The hard stuff. The things that are hard to hear. That is what needs to be protected. That is why I support Westboro Baptist Church's right to do that. It does not mean that I agree with it or that I agree with them. And neither does it mean that anybody else out there can agree or not agree with their position, but still recognize their right to say and do what they're doing. Because if you allow that to be outlawed, then the next step is any kind of protest that uses vigorous language, things that are hard and difficult to fucking hear, will all be banned. So I consider this a good thing. This is a solid defense of freedom of expression, free speech, something we should all be able to get behind. The other thing, one last thing, I noticed that Newt Gingrich was testing the waters for a presidential run. And I was just wondering to myself, what part of has-been, useless, piece of shit asshole does Newt Gingrich not understand? Probably every one of those things. He's a useless piece of shit thinking of running for president. I imagine there are probably some people out there who are thinking of voting for him. Which, unfortunately, is a sad thing. But hey, it's 2-1 today, folks. 2 good things, 1 bad. Oh wait, we got another, well, it might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. Just a brief comment on Libya. It appears that Qaddafi is having some major difficulties in Libya. And while there has been a lot of talk, a lot of chatter about international involvement in Libya and how this has been orchestrated to bring this about and all this other kind of stuff, the fact remains that I believe these revolutions are real. They're not constructed. There are people who are using them and manipulating them and running them and trying to come to their own conclusions, as I've said before, but they're real. And these people really want to have a change. They want to experience something better in life. So, you know, if the people of Libya are calling for aid, I say we should give it to them, because this is what international aid should be for. This is what foreign aid should be for. It should not be for giving arms to a country so they can stockpile it to go to war against their neighbors, like we did with Iraq and Iran and Israel. Okay? This is the essence of what humanitarian international aid, foreign aid should be. It should be to help people. That should be the only reason why anything should be done. And I'm not saying send any troops over there. No. No. Send food. Because everything revolves around food. And it's all food and poverty over there. We should be sending food. Send as much food as we can over there in the form of aid for these people while they struggle to sort things out. That's the essence of foreign aid. That's the quintessence of what we should be involved in, if we should be involved in anything in the way of foreign aid. So, if they ask for help, we should give it. Send them food. Send them the material they need to survive. That's my take on that. So maybe 2 good, 2 bad. But I think 3 good, because Qaddafi looks like he's about ready, he's about done. And 1 bad because of Gingrich, the piece of shit, loser, asshole from yesterday, thinking about running for president. All right. My take on things. Thank you. Good night.